You're listening to Candid Cannabis Conversations, a show where the title says it all. Here are your hosts, Strain Slayer and Blunt Betty.
All right, how's it going today, guys? This is Strain Slayer.
I'm Betty.
Appreciate you coming on to the Candid Cannabis Conversations chill smoke sesh, if you will.
Thanks for joining us for episode 3.
Awesome. So, last week we were pretty serious. We were on a political rant. We had a lot to talk about. It was very, very serious. So this week we decided we would kind of chill out a little bit, have more of just kind of a kickback session, kind of talk about, the daily lives of a cannabis user. So I'm excited to kind of tone it down a notch today.
We've had a lot going on with putting out the first two episodes, and I was super busy. You've been super busy. So I think we really need a day just to sit here and chill and have a nice sesh.
Today we've got two special guests. We've got Dawson from Rozn Inc. That's ROZN. And we have Gabby, somebody very close to our co-host here, Blunt Betty. So Dawson, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Hey guys, how are you? And how are you all Candid Cannabis Conversation listeners? My name is David Dawson. I go by Dawson because, I know everyone and their mother's name David, so that and being in the military, Dawson is just branded, and also Dawson's Creek. It all just flows into a simple, lot more memorable of a person versus just the David. But started doing CMH, ceramic metal halide lighting, about 3 years ago, once I heavily got involved in the cannabis industry. I've always loved cannabis since I was 16. Had some traumatic events when I was younger. Mother passed. Cannabis just always seemed to help. And after I just stopped using it, went straight into the industry, blown away by the chemistry, everything. I mean, everything about the cannabis plant, the healing benefits, down from medicating and relieving stress to actually healing cancer, suffocating cancerous cells, curing Alzheimer's, helping people with asthma. I mean, the list goes on. Pretty motivated by the industry in itself.
Wow, well, that's quite an amazing story already, and we just begun. Gabby, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what your story is? Is it as impressive as his story?
I can't say it's as impressive. I'll just come out and say it. I am Blunt Betty's daughter, Gabby. I sound like her. I look like her. But we are different people.
Very different.
Well, I share some very unique qualities that my mom has.
Purple hair.
Purple. But I'm also more like my father. But I'm a unique blend. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm a wife, a stay-at-home mom. So I have some alone times that cannabis helps me with because of depression and anxiety. But those are sad things. This is a happy day.
You're a cannabis enthusiast and patient.
I am a cannabis enthusiast. I love cannabis. I think it makes me a better mom and a better wife. It helps my house stay pretty clean, to be honest with you.
It's amazing.
It really is. So it's interesting learning about all of these different products that I have not had access to.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on, the fact that you said about the anxiety and depression. I deal with the same things, and this is a happy stream, and I think that is a happy thing to talk about. The fact that cannabis does bring us so much relief, I don't know what I would do without cannabis. So this is, cannabis is the only medicine I use for my anxiety and depression. And, I agree. It makes me a better fiance to Miss Slayer. It makes me a better pet owner. It honestly, genuinely makes me love my pets to a deeper level.
You know what, man? That's absolutely beautiful. And there's something that I would like to pull into that, if you don't mind. From there's a past thing that I read back in the day, and it's about reefer madness and the persecution of cannabis and how they create all this propaganda and how they use it to persecute against blacks and Mexicans back in the 1930s. And there's a story that that always resonated with me, that I always thought was amazing. And it's about how young African Americans were telling students at colleges and so on about their troubles growing up and being suppressed and so on with their racial status, while they were using cannabis with these students. What I think would happen is basically they made it seem as a devil's act, and they said that these students were getting these females pregnant because they were filling them with hateful thoughts about the government and making them, someone creating all this propaganda. What the truth was these students were telling them about their lives, sharing cannabis with them, medicating, and through that compassion and understanding and using the plant, these other girls were allowed to see and understand exactly what they were going through, and that compassion led to an intimate connection. And that's beautiful in the sense of, simply you can get so much more understanding and so much more, release. It allows for so much more retrospective thought, going from a quick temper, and you should never use anything as a crutch, but no one's perfect. So, going from that agitated point of view and then being able to go, you know what, let me take a step back, going outside, medicating, calming down, relaxing, retrospectively thinking, okay, why did I get agitated? Thinking about what they did, what you did to make them get agitated, and then coming back in and correcting the situation, saying, you know what, I apologize. I know I did this, but I don't like that, and it's amazing to me that go have 4 or 5 drinks and do the same thing.
Well, not only that, but take an anxiety pill. If you were to take an anxiety pill in that heated moment, that's going to last how many hours? And it's going to mess up your day. And I don't know about you guys, but anything like that, I get almost like a hangover, and I call it like a fog the next day, and I'm a real bitch the next day as well, as
like
I'm emotional and everything. So I don't get that from cannabis.
When I got injured in the military, I have a couple of things that happened. I just don't want to talk about everything here, but I was on 36 different prescriptions. I had slipped herniated disc in my lower back, night tears, PTSD. I'd wake up in the night, and still do sometimes. I'll jump on top of my fiance and cover her up. Start screaming. I've ran to the windows and cover those up. Just tell her, get down, get out of the room. And it's the mentality that you're trained to be in. And when you're in the military, it's trained like you fight. And that anxiety stuff, when they just kind of give it to you, they're like, here, this will help you. It literally zombies you out. And I did it for 2 months when I got out in 2010, and I used cannabis before I joined the Navy, but I didn't think I could after I got out. And then finally a friend was like, you need to smoke some freaking weed, man. And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, trust me, you need to smoke some weed. So I did a little bit of research. I finally said, okay, you know what? I'll try it. And next thing you know, 9 years, I don't take anything. I don't even take
awesome.
a Tylenol, because 40 Tylenol will kill you.
Absolutely.
It'll rip your stomach open, create internal bleeding. And
ibuprofen's bad for your liver.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Huge respect to you for that, man. Honestly, that's
Thanks,
one of the main reasons I'm in the industry. And I've kind of talked to them about this before, but I'm extremely anti-pharmaceuticals. my biological father, uncles, grandmother, grandfather, all dead before the age of 50.
Here in Florida, you're definitely speaking to the choir.
Oh yeah, and they're all Florida natives, and they were on all types of sleeping pills, anxiety medication, depression medication, and had they had access to cannabis, they may still be here. But
you know what, man? There's no kickbacks to the doctors for cannabis, because when you have something that completely cures something or heals it, so there's nothing else needed, you don't earn money off of that, especially when they can cultivate it in their own home.
And that's why we need home grow here in Florida.
It's
that way
coming.
Patients can just grow their own medication and not have to rely on anybody else. So.
I'll tell you what, man, that Coke looks so good. I'm on keto right now, so I can't drink it.
Oh, no.
But I was going to give it to you. It's all yours if you want it.
I was amazed at how many things have carbs in them. Not right this second. I don't get cotton mouth anymore. I'm like immune to all of the side effects of cannabis.
Me too.
No red eyes, no cotton mouth. And I think it's just from continuous rosin dabs for the last 2 years, 10, 15 times a day. It's just,
I don't normally get very stoned at all, but I'm a little happy now. I think you had an effect on me.
I'll tell you what, the rosin is absolutely amazing. It's and it's not like wax. It's wax is very you know what? It can be argued live resin's nice, all that's nice, but it's incapacitating to a certain extent. I mean, I remember taking wax, maybe it's because I was a beginner, but wax dabs and being like blown away to the point where it's like, okay, I need to stop for a second. Versus rosin, and the high is very linear. It's got a one pathway. It doesn't really. It's just there's not as much terps present. I mean, everything I just showed you here, you see how it's wet still looking? That's just because the terpenes are so present. And the more that I've learned about terpenes as a connoisseur, oh my gosh, I mean, terpenes are the magic. I didn't know any of this until about a year ago.
That's something I can't wait to see the new research. And there's a whole long conversation about that. But as we can start to research that, and big companies actually start investing money into what these specific terpenes and alternate cannabinoids are actually doing. Like you said earlier, I don't know if it was on recording or not, but you were talking about how the whole indica and sativa classifications are bullshit. Like, I can't wait to see those get thrown out the window.
Well, you know what? I'm going to get slandered for saying that. I can't say they're bullshit. What I will say is, for a growing pattern, yes, because indicas tend to have a wider leaf span, fatter, more of a fluffier bud structure,
more oily.
Sativa is going to be compact nugs that are spaced apart usually. The biggest thing for me is there's so much hybridization nowadays. We've genetically hybridized the fuck out of everything.
Oh yeah.
So it's to the point where it's like, what's really what at this point? I mean, especially with some of these new strains that are coming out, like Star Dog Punch, which is like Chem Dog crossed with Purple Punch, which Purple Punch came from, and it's to the point where it's like, okay, what cross is it really, though? What percentage is it really? And when you're speaking of THC and you're saying hybrid, 40% sativa, 30% indica, or what? That's horrible math. Wait, let me fix that. 30% ruderalis. There's a real.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, right?
Perfect.
It's to show that I'm not completely ridiculous on my knowledge there, but yeah, it's like it's more so about the terpene profile. Terpenes are always THC is gonna take you here. CBD is actually going to cut your THC down and modulate it, help you bring down that anxiety if you get too high or too, oh my gosh, too much. CBD is going to help with that. But terpenes, so my thing I like to say, I made this up, I love metaphors, is THC is like the boat and the terpenes are like the river.
That's awesome. I like that. It delivers it. It like delivers it.
Right? Because then if you're in the boat, you're just sitting there like, okay, and the distillate. This is a perfect point for the distillate that we have in all these dispensaries nowadays. It's ethanol-based distillate, so it's ripped and stripped of every terp. There's a little bit of different CBG, maybe CBN, CBD slightly, but it's majority THC. And it's then when they put in these plant-based terpene mixes that are like, Yuck. 5 to 6 different strains, limonene, myrcene, all just pinene mixed into different formulations to recreate a strain. There's emulsifiers added. I mean, if you literally go to like Rika Chemicals, shout out to Rika Chemicals, go look at their strains online. You can go buy them if you want. You can get 500 grams of their terpenes for like $1,000. It's $2 a gram. Versus go buy some cannabis-derived terpenes. That's $90 a gram at a good supplier. So it's the differences in the and you'll taste it. A cannabis-derived terpene pen like MUV's Prime line, their blueberry gave me goosebumps the first time it's just amazing. It's I believe they're using steam distilled terpenes, which I'm not 100% sure, but steam distilled isn't anything close to as good as like a cold pressed terpene that's naturally extracted with different methods, which are, I don't want to give away trade secrets of people that I know that do it, but I mean, there's methods where they literally let them naturally dry and they'll condense that vapor of that drying room back into a fluid and pull that terpene out. And it's a naturally, exasperated terpene that's floating, So it's just there's a lot of different methods.
So we kind of jumped right in with all of this, and which is great. I love it. No, That's awesome. But let's go ahead for people like me. I know the basics, but let's just, as for somebody that just landed on this planet and doesn't know anything about rosin, some hippie from the 1960s that smoked a joint, explain to those people what rosin is.
100%. Yeah. So rosin, it's an older rosin it derives from different terms like esters of things being pressed. Deriving. So basically you're pressing cannabis at a high pressure and a high temperature to extract the resins that are inside the glands. Now this resin is not going to be like the resin you all are used to after you smoked cannabis in a bowl or a pipe and you get that black tar buildup. That is a resinous buildup from the carcinogenic muck you've been building. Rosin is when you press something. Say you put your cannabis in a silk sack. You put that in between a set of aluminum plates. You then press that at anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 psi, depending on the strain and temperature. And what happens is you extract all of the natural oils from the cannabis plant solventlessly. So theoretically, same full spectrum as a live resin BHO type dab, because you're getting all of the cannabinoid properties as well as the full spectrum of terpenes, but you don't have any butane, propane, hexatane, tane. There's like 16 tanes. I had no clue. Yeah. So it's natural. I mean, and, with this movement of everything green, everything organic, this is the way that I think we should definitely go,
I agree. It's much healthier. I mean, like you said, there's no solvents, there's no chemicals being used to strip these cannabinoids and terpenes. There's not a purging process, which, most purging processes damage THC content or terpene profiles if not done properly. And, the methods are getting better and better, but there's no doubt that in every one of those methods, if you're purging out a solvent, you're definitely damaging the final product. So I'm excited to see some solventless
I agree.
rosin options here coming soon in Florida.
Well, I think Move is going to definitely have something very, very soon. They've been teasing us with packets of their packaging that they've got ready. So it looks like we're just waiting on, I guess, things to get finished up over there, and they might be the first movers on it. And if that's funny, first movers.
No pun intended.
I'm the queen of that. Now I'm going to add that.
We love making move puns.
Oh, I love move puns. They're my favorite.
That rosin, it's got me feeling nice, but I am staring at this dab that I have in this rig, and I know you're going to kill me, but I have to hit it. It's
bro. Smoke that shit. You're good.
Florida I-95.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You've had a good 10 minutes on the rosin. That's all I asked for. Let you experience it.
No, I appreciate it. It was really nice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's deep. A lot of body in that. Kind of like makes you want to close your eyes and go curl up next to your puppy over there.
Yeah. He looks content, doesn't he?
Oh my God, that's surprisingly really nice.
So I'm rolling up a little joint of some Cinderella 99.
Oh,
over
okay.
here.
Yep, Cinderella 99. If you want, you want to put some rosin on. Oh my gosh.
You want to put some rosin in it?
Wait, I need to actually. Whoa.
Did Purple Linda?
Purple Linda got you rocked, huh?
Literally.
Dawson's weak from the Purple Linda.
I don't. That's so funny, man. What a sleeper! Holy crap! What a sleeper. I'll tell you what. If you really need to medicate and relax and really like, you know what? I need to take a second. Like, I'm a teacher, and I teach kindergarten, and these damn kids been throwing paint and shit everywhere all day.
Shaking the table with my laughter.
That Linda will listen.
So here's the thing. I guess you would call them bud tenders in Florida. I don't know. My gentleman at Move. I don't know if I'm allowed to say names. Am I allowed to say
My gentleman, I'm not sure.
He's a nice fellow.
If he takes care of you with
He
things.
does. Well, okay. So here's the thing. I don't qualify for discounts and stuff. So when this 10% rolled around on the 10% off, I mentioned that I was going to come in the day before and get a patch. But I wasn't, I didn't have time, so I didn't get the discount on it. So I was still buying a patch for full price, and he gave me 15% off the gold instead of 10.
Well, because you were being honest and sweet, and he was being honest and compassionate.
And honestly, if we're being 100% honest, I kind of called him out for not remembering me.
Oof.
Because I go in there like all the time, and he'd pull the same line. Have you been in here before?
Blunt Betty, was she flirting with him?
No, I was alone. I want to say I'm very socially awkward, so a lot of my encounters feel like I'm flirting, but then I'm like, no, I'm just really freaking weird right now.
Yeah, I am super nice, so people are like, oh, this.
Well, it's not even a nice thing. Like, I just say awkward things to people on accident. I told one of our mutual friends' wives, she was getting ready to go out for the day, and I was like, I hope you enjoy your lady time. So it's not even just men. Like, I am just awkward with people in general. I hope you enjoy your lady time.
When Strangeslayer and I first started getting to know each other, we messaged back and forth, and I'm really, really bad about autocorrect. I'm old and my eyes aren't good, and so I send weird stuff. But I caught this right before I sent it, but I still had to like capture it because it was so great. But his fiance was out of town and she had come home, so I said, I hope that you're enjoying your lady home. But it came out and autocorrected the hole, so I hit it autocorrected. So I hope you're enjoying your lady hole.
Did his fiance read that?
No, I didn't send it because I caught it first, but then I put it on Facebook and I didn't tell him. I just said like, what a bad autocorrect that was that I had sent to somebody, and then like he kind of called it out and owned that it was him that I had sent it to.
That is hilarious. Honestly, when you told me that, I just cried. I showed that to my fiance. I was like, I always enjoy my lady hole.
It's time for the review of the week with Strangeslayer critiquing the best medical cannabis Florida has to offer.
All right, today's strain review is on Vitacan's Duct Tape Flower Cups. This is a Gorilla Glue mixed with Do-Si-Do, so a very indica dominant hybrid flower. This strain came in at 24.9% THC and at $50 an eighth. Vitacan's coming in pretty competitive in the flower game, right off the bat. So I was pretty happy to see with this duct tape, it was actually really cured proper. The growing, the curing, the flushing, everything seemed to be done properly. There was no dry, freeze-dried nugs in the cups. They were actually sticky, trichome filled, properly cured nugs. So shout out to Vitacan for that. The strain itself, the duct tape, really big fan of this strain. Really piney, heavy, gassy aromas. Smelled much like its parent strain, GG4. The taste was very spicy, kind of bites the tongue when you hit it. And the aftertaste is very herby, just that GG4 parent strain standing out. So as for effects, very heavy indica dominant traits, definitely knock you on your ass. Amazing body high, full euphoric pain relief, but there was still a nice cerebral, uplifting, kind of hazy effect on the heady side of things. Although it is indica dominant, there are some nice uplifting sativa traits still in there. Great strain for stress, anxiety, depression, physical pain of really any kind, from arthritis to chronic back pain. The strain also really calmed gastrointestinal issues, any burning, cramping, things like that. So big shout out to the duct tape, big shout out to Vitacan for growing and curing some really beautiful flower. I'm excited to see what else Vitacan has to offer. I have not been let down yet. Keep up the great work, Vitacan, and thanks for listening, guys.
Strangeslayer is doing beach cleanups for the people outside of Florida that may not know that yet, and for the people that don't know him. He's done 2 already, and he's doing his 3rd one coming up.
What inspired you to start doing these beach cleanups?
So growing up in Florida, seeing all the mess left behind on the beaches and things, it always disgusted me. And I realized that I have an extra 3 hours a month to go out and help make an impact, to clean up some of that mess. It sounds corny and whatever, but the one video that really impacted me the most on YouTube or Facebook that I came across was the sea turtle with the straw stuck in his nose. I have cold chills right now just thinking of it. Like, it was really, really heartbreaking to see this beautiful creature with a piece of plastic, some handmade just trash stuck in his nostril, and possibly would have died if it wasn't for these amazing people who grabbed him and actually were able to get the straw out of his nose. So videos like that and watching other organizations and people going out there and cleaning up the beaches, I said, you know what? This would be a great way for cannabis patients to get out there, make an impact, and also break the stigma at the same time and show people that we're not just a bunch of stoners. We're not lazy. Like, we're using medicine, but we're just like you. We're just like everybody else, and we can start organizations. We can make changes in the environment and the community. So
You've had some good encounters while you've been out there with non-cannabis users?
Oh,
yes?
yeah, definitely. At the beach cleanups, we've tried talking to as many people as we can. In fact, at the last beach cleanup, the lifeguard in West Palm Beach was so interested in what we were doing. He came out and like high-fived us and said, you know, hell yeah, man, we love what you're doing. Keep it up. In fact, I even gave him Sunshine Cannabis donated some shirts. So I gave him a shirt, and he rocked it. He put it on. Like,
Hell yeah.
Everybody was really interested in what we were doing. I ran into somebody out there from Colorado, a woman who owns a Colorado, I'm not sure if it was a dispensary or some sort of cannabis-related industry out in Colorado, and she's here in Florida starting up. She saw what we were doing, took a picture with us. You know, she's got 15,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
You know, it was a pleasure to meet her. It was a really cool experience.
Very cool. Did I see pictures where an older couple, and when you were in St. Pete Beach, came and talked to you?
Yeah, St. Pete, a lot of elderly couples out there. A lot of people from out of state, snowbirds especially, and they were super excited to hear that as long as they stay here in the state of Florida for 1 month out of the year, they qualify and they can become patients.
1 month.
1 month out of the year.
That's all it takes.
You just have to be a resident in the state of Florida for 1 month.
Well, Florida got something right.
People were excited to hear that, and I was happy to share that and be able to educate them, because now they're going to go out and get their cards. And had we not been on the beach and been able to educate them and teach them about that, they may have been buying black market medicine, or, you know, been sticking to opioids or whatever it is that doctors are happy to pump you full of. So
They could have had a real stick in their ass about marijuana, and just talking to you guys could have completely changed their mind. And that right there, I think, is really cool.
that's the hope anyway, you know. Actually, St. Pete Beach was such a success to me because it was at the same time that there was this catastrophe, if you will, that there was a natural, or not natural, but a man-made reef made out of old recycled tires that somebody decided to tie together and try to build a reef out in the Gulf with. It actually tore apart, and hundreds and hundreds, like thousands of tires were actually washing up. And we happened to go out on the beach one of the days that, you know, a shitload of tires happened to wash up on the beach. So January's beach cleanup, I want to say we picked up over 100 tires off the beach. So I was really, really happy, and huge shout out to everybody who came out and helped with that. They were covered in barnacles. People could have got hurt from that. You know, it's rubber. It's definitely not something that should be sitting out on the beach. So big shout out to Keith Jars. He came to the January beach cleanup. He wasn't able to make it to West Palm Beach, but he's made some huge donations. He's donating 50 cents of every purchase that's made for any of his Keith Jar swag towards the Beach Cleanup Foundation. I say foundation. I shouldn't say that because it's not a legitimate foundation, but the beach cleanup efforts.
Beach cleanup efforts. Hoorah.
Efforts, yeah. So big shout out to Keith Jars and everybody else.
Yeah, man, I would love to come too. What were you doing? You did St. Pete.
We did St. Pete in January. We did West Palm in February.
Clearwater's super popular beach. That would be a good.
For sure.
That's by you.
Yeah,
stomping
it is. Another big one I want to do soon is Naples. Collier County right now has a ban on dispensaries. So Naples is Collier County. So I think it'd be awesome to have 50 plus people in cannabis related, you know, shirts and hats out there on the beach in a county that doesn't allow dispensaries. So,
well, I would love to, you know, I'm getting a round of shirts up as well. Yeah, that's just going to be, I would just have to need to know, you know, like, you know, what sizes and everything like that. But I would love to do some shirts as well.
I've got somebody donating. It is Urban Shirts at Urban Shirts on Instagram, donating 50 single color press shirts for March.
That's awesome.
I'm actually still currently looking for 3 main sponsors. I'll just go ahead and put it out there. If anybody's looking to sponsor, DM me. I'll give you the information. I'm looking for 3 main sponsors. They will get their company logo, name, Instagram handle, whatever it is on the shirt, as well as shout outs for all of the, beach cleanup.
That's awesome. That's how you should do it, man. Get some positive apparel going. That's
what I'm saying. We can awesome. Kind of network in the community and kind of help each other out. So that's what I'm looking for.
Well, keep that up. And when is your next beach cleanup, and what's your goals with that?
We are heading down to Fort Myers, Florida. That is my hometown, like I said. So I'm really hoping to blow this one up and make it really big. First 50 people who RSVP will have a Strain Slayer shirt. But that's going to be on March 30th. Okay. It's a Saturday, the last Saturday of the month.
All right, March 30th, Fort Myers.
Yep.
More details on your website, Facebook, Instagram. Of course, I'll have it on my website. Candid
Absolutely.
Cannabis will have it, all that. It'll be on all that stuff.
Definitely.
I won't be able to make the next one. It's fair season for me, and I'm pretty busy. But after that, I plan on, even if I have to travel, I will make sure that I drag my ass out of this house, and I am a part of the one after that for sure.
No, I appreciate it. And I understand, it honestly means just as much to me for people to help just spread the word. Like, I don't expect everyone to be able to come out and actually make it to the beach cleanup between different health conditions or just geographically, like if you're far away from it. Just helping spread the word and just letting people know what's going on, that means just as much to me. So I appreciate it.
Look at the movements in the last 2 years. Recycling. I mean, as far as taking trash off the beaches, being aware about pollution, global warming, all these things, and it's slowly but surely making an impact with people. Even just you're talking about the one thing on Netflix, Blunt Betty. You're talking about the Bill Nye show, which is very awesome. I haven't seen every episode, but I love it. There's another show called One Strange Planet. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, although I do love Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I cannot stand his commentary in that because he just
second that.
dumbs it down to the point where you're like, you're sheep. But you know what? You can respect Will. He's making his money. He's just coming in. They said, hey, do this. It took him 3 or 4 hours. Who knows? God bless him. He's just doing his thing. He didn't say, hey, guys, I want to. They contacted him because he's a likable guy.
Did you hear what his son's doing up in Michigan?
Jaden's amazing. I don't know what his son's doing.
So he is single-handedly doing something about the water problem in Michigan himself. He started a movement.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah,
wow.
He started a movement. I forgot exactly what the details are. I just saw like a little blurb about it yesterday. But yeah, he absolutely is. So what an amazing family the Smiths are.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. I mean, Michigan got left out to dry.
It's a rot.
It's terrible.
So Dawson and you and I have something in common besides the fact that my husband was a Navy guy. I sold used cars in Jacksonville, Florida. So I sold used cars to Navy people, to Navy guys.
Let me shun her with my fingers.
No.
You can't see this, but I'm rubbing my top forefinger against my other forefinger.
So this is how the story goes. The company wasn't bad. The guy was a total asshole. And if you've ever seen what is that Orange County Choppers or whatever, and the Paul Senior, that he was like a saint. I would have worked for Paul Senior any day over who I worked for. And I'm not going to call the guy's name out, but he was a real asshole. But he had a good philosophy. He didn't charge any interest rate on our used cars. And he got good deals on them, and he sold them for still reasonable prices, but he made his money in the profit. And so he was a buy here, pay here, and there was no interest. And he did take care of people, and I give him credit for that.
Okay.
He was a dick in other ways. He was drunk by 10 o'clock, but there he was.
Yeah, alcohol is
so I started out cleaning cars, and then he kept telling me, you got to sell cars. You're just a natural. He says, you treat everybody the same, whether they're pushing a card up here or they drive up in a Mercedes.
Yeah, you're very sweet.
Everybody the same. And that's true about me. And so I started working in the office, and I knew the office, and then I started selling cars, but I sucked at selling used cars because I was too honest.
Yeah.
I was too honest. Like, I did sell a van that had brains all over it. Somebody had killed themselves in it, and it wasn't properly cleaned, and I refused to clean it. I told him he needed to have a professional clean it. So this guy came in, and he was looking for something, and I was like, look, I got this van, and it's got brains. I was honest. I was like, it's got brains in it. He's like, I'll get that shit clean before my wife sees it. And that dude brought it with brains in it.
Yo, you're a salesman.
You
in my
are
opinion.
a salesman. All right, look, either that guy needed a van, and because he was transporting bodies, and he was like, "This is perfect. I can just blend them in, and no one will. I'll just say it was." I'll be completely honest. I'm off track of where the hell I was even talking about, man. That purple Linda.
That purple.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting over here silently, like I'm watching a TV show. Like we're watching you guys from that purple Linda. I'm like,
it's the YouTube. It's our YouTube.
Oh,
I'm
You're the-
watching
shit,
YouTube.
man.
You're the first guest on our YouTube.
Shout out to MVB
Our
Gold.
first viewer on our YouTube channel.
Move Gold got me over here just
Honestly,
spacing
you know
off.
what? And it's so funny because people are complaining about, oh, there's ethanol in the extract at MEV Gold, the terpy stuff. Well, it's because they can't purge out all of the ethanol of this stuff because ethanol is so finicky, and without wrecking the terpenes. But this purple Linda, it doesn't look syrupy, and it is just, there's no ethanol. I just smoked it out of the switch, which vaporizes at 200 to 600 degrees in different incremental levels, and there was no. Did you taste any ethanol at all?
None. And I'll be honest, I love Move. I'm not one to talk bad about them, but in their shatter, you definitely taste the ethanol. You know.
Oh yeah.
But in that purple Linda, I didn't taste any.
Yeah. Well, they've got some, definitely some growing pains to work out with, just like every other provider. I saw some cups on Facebook the other day from one brand. The cups, some of them aren't completely sealed, and if they're not sealed and they're open to the environment and too much moisture gets in there, it's gonna form mold. That's how it works.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've seen a crazy range of how the flower actually looks coming out of these cups. Some of this stuff is actually completely dry. It's like dust. And more recently, big shout out to VitaCan, I've actually seen really high quality nugs that are sticky, full of trichomes,
That's what I heard, man.
properly cured.
Ooh.
So just real quick, we all went to VitaCan, and in a little bit, I'm sure that we're going to be testing out their new duct tape that we picked up. And I think some of us got some of their distillate as well, which I think is arguably some of the best distillate that we've got in the state of Florida. So maybe those of us that got some of that can give that a try.
To be clear, I heard VitaCan duct tape is Do-si-dos crossed with Gorilla Glue.
Do-si-do crossed with GG4 original glue. Yep.
Oh.
Did you read that on strainslayer.com?
I think actually I did.
Yeah. Good.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I get all of my pertinent cannabis strain info from the Strain Slayer. More so because they pop up in my feed. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what they have. Holy shit, I need to go. But can I? I'm just like, I need to definitely smell this beautiful. And you know what? So VitaCan is completely sealing their whole 3.5 grams in here, and they're sealing it good.
And some people have complained about that because they want to be able to open it up and smell it. I can understand their argument that they've gotten accustomed to being able to open it up and smell it in other places.
Yeah, that's not how it
complained.
should be handled, because what if that person doesn't want that medicine? Now they're like, you know what? Oh my God. You got to get it quick. You got to smell it quick as soon as it opens, because those are fresh terps.
Pass it around the
And
table.
every time you smell them in, you're pulling them out, and there's none left. That's really...
Bro,
I can
it smells
smell
just like GG4. Do you smell that parent strain in there?
And
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
GG4, so
yeah.
there's a reason that I like that
You'll
duct tape
taste
so
it.
much.
You'll
I
taste
love
it
that
even
duct
more
tape.
too.
The drum roll is... Oh, they are
Crimped.
nice.
They are crimped. Oh, no. Look at you. Look at you. You got lucky on yours because
I
mine
think-
was crimped.
I think
Mine was crimped too.
Yeah.
I think Vita heard the people. Oh,
VitaCan does drawings where they give a year's supply of medication to winners. And guess what? I'm one of those winners.
oh my! A year?
Every month for 12 months, I get $1,000 in medication.
Wait. Say that one more time.
Every single month for 12 months, I get $1,000
Oh,
of medication from VitaCan.
That is so beautiful.
Beautiful.
That is amazing.
They are my favorite company as far as companies go.
Oh my gosh.
Hands down in the state. They want to do good things. They have extremely high standards with their grow house. Very high standards. Their products are really stand up good products.
That's beautiful in itself. I mean, this stuff isn't cheap. You know what? And I talked about it multiple times because this is a medical market. No one's recreational here. They're charging us recreational prices in a medical market. which is outlandish to say the least, because I've worked with distributors that produce distillate and so on, and good distillate, 91% plus, great purity with no pesticides or anything like that, is anywhere from $6 to $9 a gram. Cannabis-derived terpenes added in at a 10% ratio. Say you bought them in bulk at the prices I get them, which anyone can get them at, $85. That's $8.50 at a 10% ratio per gram. So that means a full gram is $17.50. Your cost, that's how much it should cost you if you were a consumer buying it from someone that was selling it, making a profit, that was producing the distillate. So $17.50 for a cannabis-derived product. Non-cannabis derived, $9 to $10. So I don't understand, they don't need 80 to 100 to $150. I mean, I saw, oh my gosh, Knox Medical.
I've never shopped there. Their prices are
I've never
outrageous.
shopped there either. Have you shopped there?
I went when I first became a patient. I went and did their first time.
Probably
patient
didn't have any
discount.
much stuff.
I don't remember exactly. I got vape pen cartridges at the time.
Okay, they did have vape
that's really all
cartridges.
they had was cartridges and
Capsules.
I think they may have, but all I got was cartridges. And I remember thinking that it wasn't as bad as I thought. The taste wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I do remember thinking that, for the first time patient discount, it was worth it to go and try it myself, because I like to, if I'm going to complain about something or if I'm going to rave about something, I like to try
hear
it.
you. Yeah.
So that was my perspective on it. And I was a new patient. And at the time, all we had was a couple choices here. So
I've noticed that a lot of the cartridges that came out on the Florida market right away, or at first, the terpenes in them tasted like pickles to me. Actually, I think one specifically from Curaleaf, I can't remember which one. It was like Pink Panther or something.
Predator Pink.
Predator.
Yes.
You know what? The vape cart may not have tasted great, but I will tell you, they did release that strain in full flower.
Yeah.
Probably one of the nicest flowers aside from this duct tape.
I don't know. I
Did
haven't
it taste
seen
like
this.
pickles?
I want to see it. No. Okay. So I've listened to this. No bullshit. I have pressed, I don't even know how many. I've been pressing literally for 2.5 years. Ounces. The Pink Predator, I pressed that. I've got a video on my, and I wasn't a fan. I'm not a huge fan of Curaleaf, just for the simple fact of I heard they used MCT in their Slim Vapes. And for anyone that doesn't know, here's a little bit of knowledge out there, because I saw people telling me that MCT is perfectly healthy for you. I looked it up on Google, on Facebook. So when you ingest MCT, it's a multi-chain triglyceride. It's perfectly healthy because there's a lot of different fats. It's in coconut oil. A lot of MCT is in coconut oil. But when you vaporize MCT, you can literally get lipid pneumonia because you're smoking fats. So the big thing here is I wanted a clean place to get some medicine. When I heard about that, I didn't even want to mess with Curaleaf. But I pressed the Pink Predator. You can see it on my Instagram, which is at ROZNINC, Rozn Incorporated. And so I basically pressed that Pink Predator. It came out a beautiful liquid gold. A lot of THCA in it, if you look at the pictures. And also the smell and aroma. Oh my freaking God. I mean, it's like, it's okay. How do I describe it? Okay. Ooh, perfect. Okay. Imagine a hard candy. Imagine cotton candy, fluffed up, sweet, add flowers in it, and then crisp it. And then throw that in your mouth. So like crunchy, sweet, florally. I don't even know how to explain it. Didn't get you blazed off your ass, but you know what? When you're in the status of, you get medicated all the time, you want to get a little change. And that is something that I was just absolutely, I was blown the hell away by that.
Predator Pink.
Predator Pink.
Predator Pink, yeah.
She's a gorgeous girl.
Okay, guys, I think that today has been a lot of fun, a lot of chaos, and some knowledge in there too. With that being said, this is going to continue on, and we are going to go ahead and cut this off here and do a 2-part episode. So don't fret. This is not the end of the conversation. This is not the end of your time getting to know Dawson and Gabby. We will gather back here next Tuesday and see you then.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot to touch on today. I think we kind of got derailed a few times with some laughs and some funny stories, but I'm definitely excited to pick back up on this next week. So keep an eye out for the second part of this episode, as well as more beach cleanup information coming soon for the March Fort Myers beach cleanup. So keep an eye out for that, guys, and we will see you next Tuesday.
And that was on March 30th. Again, the Fort Myers cleanup is on March 30th, just to remind everybody of the date. It was a great time today. And please make sure to join us next week for the second part of the Sesh Show.
Thanks for coming, guys. Go out there and slay the stigma.
Thank you for listening to Candid Cannabis Conversations. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to leave us a review on Google Play and iTunes. Blunt Betty and Strain Slayer can be found on all the popular social media outlets, as well as candidcannabisconversations.com. Again, we appreciate you following us and look forward to you joining us for the next episode.